Alright guys, so after the old bugger moment, blew all my fuses, got in there, checked the magnetron again, 100%, not a problem there. Pulled the power supply board, and just around here, on the back of one of the main capacitors, which is this one here, there was what appeared to be like a burn mark, but it wiped off clean. And on the back here, basically where it tracks, it was just all this like grey slash dark dust. Clean that off, that all came up. Went and checked the board. I mean, like I say, just a whole lot of resistance and diode checks. And it seems to be fine. So gave it a clean, use the missus's makeup brush, which I'm sure she's going to be all over the moon about. And then I figured I was going to give it a go, but before I went in, I'll just give the final sort of a power board for the magnetron a look at, and a few things sort of caught my eye. One, a little bit of melted plastic just about there. Secondly, loads of dust inside, and when I look at the back, it's just a few key areas that look like either just residual sort of resin from the, if you can see that, sort of just about there. It's a bit of crap, and then there's a few places that just looked a little bit suspect, sort of around here. Sorry, that picture's not great. I've just hit it with a bit of a toothbrush. I'm about to carry on for a bit, but I'm hoping that if there's any form, this one's the worst, I think. If you look in there, it just appears to be something that probably could have just created a bit of a short between these components. So if I can get that a massive clean, I'm a firm believer in cleaning all these things helps. And I've certainly solved a few of these problems with some of these fancy new wagons where they've got like the alarm system goes through the windows and everything, and you get these Audi TTs that get their ECUs wet from like water coming down from behind the convertible. So basically just gonna give it a good clean up and then try again, because I'm just a bit perplexed. I've tried a couple of resistance checks on some of the capacitors here. I mean, obviously they're in circuit, so you can never really tell, short of pulling them out, whether they are 100%. But this aside, I figured if there's enough that are similar and they're all saying the same thing, then there's probably the same thing, unless they've all failed or they're all okay. So I'm going to have another swing, just do the basics, and then after that, I think my final port of call, because I do believe that this is where we're looking at one of these two items. Because what I did was basically I disconnected the magnetron, which is where I thought the problem was going to be, and I ran the microwave, and as soon as I turned it on, it killed the fuse. So in that means, and because all the switches made on the doors and all that, they seem to be all of good resistance and everything, so I'm happy with that side of things. But at the end of the day, I think it just leads towards somewhere along the power supply. As an electronics guy, sort of not far from here, I figured if I can at least just take it to him and be worth picking his brain as to whether I'm in the right direction. But I think the key thing really will be whether it's once it's clean, whether I get any improvement. Cheers, guys. Right, guys. Well, gave it a copious amount of some contact cleaner. I'd recommend using contact cleaner because it obviously evaporates off and doesn't leave any residue. However, I have been known to use good old WD-40, copious amounts for the actual cleaning, because WD does actually do a great job cleaning. And then make sure you use contact cleaner afterwards to get off any of the residue. Also, the key thing, electrical components, considering they completely discharge and everything. I've certainly spoken to a couple of electronics engineers, and they're like, yeah, you pretty much run the stuff through the dishwasher, they'll definitely come out clean. So old electronics boards, so long as they're fully discharged, there's no capacitors that are charged up or anything, run it through the washing machine. Clearly, a massive caveat. I have never tried that, but I have certainly doused them pretty good in some WD-40, giving them a massive clean out, got rid of all the corrosion, and then hit them with some electrical contact cleaner, which then also evaporates off. But the key thing really, I think, is if we're looking in around here, around that neck of the woods, there was loads of muck, and in and around there, it looked like it was shorting out. There was just loads of gunk everywhere. All of that seems to have come off. I think the only place is around a pretty crap little soldering section there. You can see a little bit of muck in there, and I think on the other side of that solder there. But other than that, everything seems to be back to, dare I say it, not from factory, but certainly clean again. So gonna have to go play back through some of the previous videos so I get all the wires going in the right place. I'm not a genius, so I'll definitely take whatever aids are available. I'll plug it back, and then hopefully we don't have another oh bugger moment.